Hello, and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Derek Strauss with Gavroche, and we are partnering with the CDO Magazine, MIT CDO IQ, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers in a series of C-suite interviews. You know, a growing number of organizations have been attempting to create a data-driven culture, but very few have been successful in achieving this, and fewer still have managed to deliver ongoing value from their enterprise data and analytics programs. So what is the perspective of forward-thinking members of the C-suite regarding the formula for success? We're asking this question to prominent executives. We're asking them to weigh in on this topic. And today we have the opportunity to speak with Mark Kim, the Chief Executive Officer of the Municipal Securities Rulemaking Board. Now, Mark has held various senior executive roles in his career, working in organizations such as Goldman Sachs, City of New York, DC Water, and now the MSRB. When I met Mark in April 2019, I immediately knew that he was an executive who understood the value of data and analytics in business. This was not only due to the fact that he had a t-shirt with the label Data Geek draped over his visitor's chair, but also it was due to the way that he spoke about the critical role that data and analytics played in the business of the MSRB. So welcome, Mark. Thank you for joining us.
Derek, thank you, and CDO Magazine for this kind invitation. It's always a pleasure for me to talk about the strategic role that data plays in the mission of the MSRB.
Well, Mark, let's kick off with perhaps just starting with you giving us a brief overview of the MSRB and the role that data and analytics plays in advancing the organization's strategy.
So Congress created the MSRB in 1975 to serve as the principal regulator of the $4 trillion municipal securities market. State and local governments access this market to access capital to finance public infrastructure projects. And these projects include the schools that educate our children, the hospitals that take care of our sick, and the roads that connect our cities and towns. It's hard to go a day without relying on something that was financed by a muni bond. In addition to writing the rules that regulate this industry, the MSRB was mandated by Congress to promote a fair and efficient market. And this is where data enters the picture. Advancing market transparency through data is one of the principal means by which the MSRB promotes a more fair and efficient market. And the MSRB is uniquely situated to advance market transparency because we serve as the industry's central and only repository for disclosure and trade data. In other words, we possess much of the original source data for the municipal securities market.
Mm-hmm. So Mark, maybe you could just tell us a little bit about your journey in establishing data and analytics as a capability at the MSRB.
So our data journey has been an exciting one. What is remarkable to me is that, in my personal opinion, the MSRB did not fully appreciate the value of its data as a strategic asset in the past. Data was more like an afterthought. It was something that we had to deal with, as opposed to being a driver of strategic initiatives and opportunities. But that mindset has changed. Today, the MSRB has a standalone interdisciplinary data department that is staffed with professionals from across the organization who are focused exclusively on advancing our data strategy. This is the first time that the MSRB has had an independent data department that was not a part of IT. We also hired the MSRB's very first chief data officer to lead this effort. And the chief data officer is a member of the senior team and reports into the CEO, not to the CTO or CIO. I think these are important organizational alignments and restructuring that recognizes the value of data for our organization.
Absolutely. And of course, just having that support for that role, from the top of the house is such a huge help to any CDO who's trying to do his job. And so, my hat off to MSRB for really starting this out in the right direction. 2020 has been a challenging year for everyone, of course. How has the pandemic affected the business of the MSRB? And what role has data and analytics played in addressing the crisis?
I'm fortunate to say that the pandemic has not adversely impacted the business of the MSRB. Although we are all working remote, our people are getting it done and have not missed a step, and for that I'm grateful. The severe economic dislocation that the pandemic caused has actually created a unique opportunity for the MSRB to demonstrate the value of our data. As issuers of municipal bonds, state and local governments are required to file what are known as continuing disclosures to the MSRB that include describing any events that have had a material impact on the issuer's ability to repay bondholders. Not surprisingly, projected revenues are down significantly for many state and local governments due to business closures and job losses and lockdowns. As a result, the MSRB has received literally tens of thousands of these continuing disclosures that describe the impact of the pandemic on their finances and operations. The challenge is that these disclosures are submitted as unstructured data of varying quality, and they are very difficult to index and categorize. There are no uniform data standards in the municipal securities market. Over the past year, the MSRB has leveraged its investments in cloud computing to prototype the use of technologies such as artificial intelligence and machine learning to impose structure on this data, explore natural language processing, and develop an advanced search functionality that enabled us to extract insight from these continuing disclosures. As a result, the MSRB was able to produce a COVID-19 disclosure report that provided the market with greater transparency about how this pandemic was impacting the financial position and creditworthiness of municipal bond issuers. In short, we were able to successfully leverage our data to identify market trends, emerging risks, and empower investors to make better investment decisions and possibly identify new investment opportunities. For me, this is the power of data and why it's so central to the mission of the MSRB to protect investors and to foster a more fair and efficient market.
It's great to hear as you talk about that, some of the positives that have actually come through this year. And it's amazing. Again, it underscores the importance of data and analytics, I think, has really been highlighted through the trials and tribulations of this year. Just in a nutshell, I suppose, it would be interesting just to get your thoughts and summarizing the formula for success in creating a data-driven culture and enabling the organization to derive ongoing value from its investments. Because I think a lot of people can implement something and there can be a great fanfare and wow, we've done this, but then what happens down the road is are we still reaping the benefits from the investment that we put in place? So your thoughts on that would be very interesting.
I believe that there were three keys to the MSRB's success in creating a data-driven and data-driven, and data-centric culture. First, you must have buy-in from the CEO and the senior leadership of the firm. In fact, I think it would be even better if the CEO is the one who is driving the change. Second, I believe it's important to align data with your organization's strategic plan and goals. We are in the midst this year of developing a new strategic plan for the MSRB that will guide the organization over the coming years. Data will be one of our core strategic goals and priorities. So to have the backing of the board in adopting the strategic plan for the organization and ensuring that they support and they understand the importance of data in advancing our mission is an important driver of success. And then third, as I described earlier, I think it is important to align your organization, perhaps restructure your organization to foster data management and governance at the enterprise level. As I had mentioned earlier, we made significant organizational realignments in order to recognize the importance of data to our mission by creating a standalone data department, by staffing it with professionals from across the organization so that we were able to embed subject matter expertise from around the organization, including technology, within the data department, and then to have a senior executive be appointed to lead that initiative across the enterprise. So again, I think there's really three keys for the MSRB's success in creating that data-driven culture: buy-in from senior leadership, aligning data with the organization's strategic goals and objectives, and realigning the organization itself around data.
Fascinating. Wow, what a journey! What an interesting perspective that you've shared with us. Thank you, Mark Kim, for joining me today and sharing that with our audience. And to our audience, please continue to visit the cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews. And that's it from Mark and myself. We're signing out.